Tonight, we're hearing from the family of 18-year-old Jonathan Pesqueda, the victim of a wrong-way drunk driving crash. A Lubbock jury sentenced Alexander May for Pesqueda's death yesterday, but the teenager's family says privilege is getting in the way of justice.
KCBD News Channel 11's Natalie Falkenberry has been following this trial and tells us why the Pesqueda family says the system failed them.
I was hoping for justice, and this isn't giving Jonathan justice at all.
After an emotional Monday in the courtroom and 2 hours of deliberation, Alexander May faced a Lubbock jury to learn his punishment for manslaughter, the death of 18-year-old Jonathan Pesqueda. There was an audible gasp and sobs from Pesqueda's family when it was read aloud.
I knew no amount of sentence would have given him justice, but especially this one.
This is a slap in the face. Probation, a slap in the face.
150 days in jail, 10 years probation, and 72 hours in jail on every anniversary of the crash for 10 years. That sentence allowed May to walk out of the courthouse Monday night and report Tuesday morning for his 5 months in jail.
He gets to go home with his family. We don't get to see Jonathan until we make it to heaven.
Leaving the Pesqueda family concerned with the message this punishment sends to drunk drivers.
And I thought the jury would see and try and make a change, but they did not. So now it's going to continue to happen.
And this will keep happening and happening. And I don't know how to stop it. But I wish I could.
Not only was the family disappointed by the jury's decision, but victims of drunk driving crashes who were luckier than Jonathan shared the family's frustration.
How many people have to die until you understand that drinking and driving is not okay, that it's a choice that you make? Justice did not serve today, and the justice system failed us.
The family says not only did the system fail Jonathan, but the jury did as well.
The jury let us down 100%.
After the sentencing Monday, May's attorney Chuck Lanehart said his client looks forward to completing his sentence and will never drink again. Natalie Falkenberry, KCBD News Channel 11.